right, guys, welcome to another Funded Trader interview. We have Daniel here, and he just earned himself a 50K account, and he's one of our newest funded traders. So, Daniel, where are you currently located?
I'm currently located in Miami, Florida.
Oh, Miami, nice. How do you like it over there?
It's great, expensive, but not too bad.
I understand. And can you tell me a little bit about your educational background?
Yeah, so I actually, I have the regular primary school, high school diploma. Also went to a technical school after high school, and became an HVAC technician. So I actually do work on air conditioners.
Oh, wow. So with you being an HVAC technician, how'd you get into the whole Forex community? And how is it like balancing that and trading?
Well, I actually knew about Forex and like trading before I went to HVAC school. I actually learned about Forex like at a car meet.
At a car meet?
Yeah, I learned about Forex because I used to go to car meets, and there was this one time I went to one and I saw this guy with a GTR, and we were like close in age, and I was wondering how does he have that GTR, So I went over to him, talked to him a little bit, and I actually that's who introduced me to Forex. He showed me about it, and that's the first time of me ever hearing about the term trading or Forex in general.
Wow, that's actually nuts because that's not how I'd say 90% of people find out. They usually don't roll up on a guy with a GTR and find out about it.
Yeah.
And now you're a funded trader, so it works
Yeah,
out.
I'll get my GTR soon myself, I guess.
Well, we know what you're doing with the profits.
Oh yeah.
So that brings me to my next question. What do you wish you did differently in this whole trading journey?
Let's see. Um, I think one thing that I will say that I wish I would have done differently would be to practice more patience and also like not jumping around. Because my Forex journey, I've actually been trading now for 4 years, and I really attribute that to like kind of like jumping around and not being patient.
And so during those 4 years of time that you were studying, right? How much time do you think you were spending studying every day?
A lot. I spent a lot of time studying. I was on the charts for, if I wasn't in school working, I would be at home on the charts, either on my computer or my phone, watching YouTube videos or studying courses. All that together, I think I spent like maybe like about 5 hours a day studying.
That takes some serious dedication, to put, 5 hours a day every day for years. That takes a lot. So
Yeah.
in all that time, like what are some hard lessons that trading taught you?
One of the hardest lessons really was learning to manage my risk and like having a basically a trading plan that you back test so you know what to expect from from your system. Um, when it came to that, like especially in the very beginning, the reason I would jump around from system to system or whatnot was because I would take maybe 2 or 3 losses, think, oh, the system doesn't work, and I'm jumping to the next one. So for me, it was the biggest lesson was patience, and then after patience came risk management, because you could have a system that could do really well, but if you're risking 50% of your account on one trade, and that's just happens to be one trade that doesn't win, then yeah, you're back to square one.
Absolutely. And I think all of us as traders know that lesson a little too well. You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah.
So do you sit in front of the charts, like evaluating your trades, or are you more of the passive, set an alert when it goes off, glance over, see if the trade is good, and then execute from there? What would you say you cater to most of the time?
I would say now, most of the time, I typically just set alerts. But before I was definitely the type of like, try and sit in front of a chart, find setups And I realized that by doing that, I would just be creating setups in my head or looking for setups on the chart that weren't there. So I just mark up my chart and I set my alerts and kind of let the trades come to me instead.
So now that you're more mature as a trader and you're able to figure out when you're, let's say, creating a trade that's not really there, what do you do to catch yourself? And when you do catch yourself, what do you do from there?
The number one thing that I do to catch myself and make sure I'm not just trying to create a trade, I typically will zoom out on the charts to see where I am in the market. That kind of gives me a general overview because when you zoom out to like a higher time frame, it doesn't move as fast as the lower time frames. So it kind of keeps my original trade idea the same. Whereas if I went to a lower time frame to look for a trade, obviously, you'll have a lot more quote unquote setups because lower time frames move a lot faster.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any kind of trading community outside of the funded trader?
I'm actually a part of multiple trading communities. I typically, because my thought process is, I want to learn as much as I can and take bits and pieces from every community and kind of fabricate it into what I know now and how I trade now. But yeah, I'm a part of multiple communities, including the funded trader, I would say about three trading communities.
Gotcha. And what was your first impression of the funded trader, and how'd you find us in the first place?
My first impression was I had a very good first impression of the funded trader. I actually found the funded trader, obviously, as any trader who wants to get funded, doing my research on YouTube and doing like prop firm comparison videos and watching those. And I found the funded trader through I believe his name is Blake, VVS on YouTube. So yeah.
And what motivated you to become a funded trader?
The number one thing that motivated me to become a funded trader was actually being able to trade more capital. Because to me, for example, having the 50K account, how long it would take me to either save up and or trade up to $50,000 to trade with, would take me a lot longer rather than just going through the verification and challenge process of getting the 50K account.
And have you ever traded for another prop firm before?
Yeah, I actually have. I've traded for my Forex funds.
And here's the big question. How many times have you blown an account?
Man, that's a number that I'm pretty sure every trade that number is just extremely high. But all I can say is that after I'd say 20 to 25, I kind of just lost count. So we can assume any number.
Now, that leads me to a follow-up question. Do you, as a now like seasoned experienced trader, I mean, you're funded, you're managing outside capital.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that blowing an account is part of the process? Like every trader has to blow at least one account?
Definitely. It's going to happen. You're gonna find a system that, you think works, you've seen the video on it, and you risk, you put $50, $100 in a trading account and you risk the entire account on that one trade and you blow it. At least that was my experience and my experience over and over and over again. But I think it is a part of the journey of being a trader.
And what are your favorite pairs to trade?
My two favorite pairs to trade are NZD USD and Euro USD.
Is there any particular reason why?
Yeah, so I like NZD USD because it's very, moves pretty much the same as AUD USD. Just to me, from what I've seen, slightly faster, but still not too fast. Not something like gold, for example, doesn't move like very quickly. But if I do want something that moves a little quicker, I'll typically jump over to Euro USD as the next pair. But I don't limit how many pairs I trade, but those are my two main pairs that I trade.
And when you take a few losses, what helps you come back strong from it?
Really, the reason why I started trading, every trader's goal is to eventually make this like their full-time thing to where they can trade, full-time and not have to work a regular job or maybe even if they wanted to work a regular job and trade on the side. But at least for me, what kept me, wanting to continue after taking multiple losses was knowing why I'm doing this, as well as having a back-tested record showing, this is part of my trading plan. I'm gonna take losses, I'm gonna have strings of losses, and I know because based off the back test that I can expect that, and just kind of stick to trading in my plan.
Absolutely. Would you say that you're more of a, swing intraday trader or more of a scalper?
Over the years that I've been, learning to trade, I thought I really wanted to be a scalper just to try and get in out the market as fast as I can. But over time, I found that being more of an intraday, more swing trader, more suits my personality and my trading style. It's a lot more hands-off. It can get a little boring at times, but it's a lot more hands-off and a lot less stressful to me personally.
And while we're on the subject of trading styles, do you use any fundamentals at all?
No, I don't use fundamentals, although I am aware of them. I like to know like when I could expect higher volatility due to news events, but I do not use them as far as, you know, what direction I'm going to trade or, placing a trade specifically because of the fundamental. I just know to keep in mind, okay, this is NFP week or this Friday's NFP or FOMC, stuff like that. I just like to keep aware of fundamentals, but not trade them.
Gotcha. I'm going to paint a little hypothetical situation. Now, let's say you enter into a position during London session and CPI is going to be coming out during New York, and you have a little bit of an idea which direction price is going to go because of the CPI. Because, we're all in the US, we know what the prices are doing. Would you close
Yeah.
trade because of the expected volatility and just secure your profit? Would you hold on to the trade because you think that the CPI is going to go in your direction? Which would you do?
I mean, for me, I would still trade whichever direction like my analysis goes based off of, because I'm more of a purely technical trader. I'll just know like in the back of my head to be aware that there's a possibility of my trade going against me because of the news. But when it comes to like my risk management, when I take a trade, I assume the risk of every trade, so I don't really have to like worry about that, I guess, if that makes sense.
I gotcha. So speaking of your strategy, would you mind giving us a quick insight into it?
Yeah, no problem.
Gotcha. All right, let's hop on the charts. We can take a look.
All right, so this is a pretty much actually a markup that I did on Sunday. I like to mark up my charts, the weekend before the new week starts, and this was the markup for current week that we're in now. This week is about to end, but this is the markup that I did on Sunday. Pretty much what I do is I trade ranges. The way I identify ranges is, from a high to a low. In this instance, this is the 4-hour time frame because I'm more of an intraday / swing trader, and I only use lower time frames to enter and get, better entries pretty much. So in this example, if I move this markup out the way real quick, in this instance, called the replay tool, I will simply mark up my range and my point of interest of where I want to enter a trade and set my alert. Once price gets to there, now I'm ready to start looking for entries. And in this case, I will drop down to the 1 minute on this specific trade. And we can see, price coming into our point of interest. And this is just one of the ways I enter a trade. This isn't the only way, but it is an added confluence that I use to enter a trade. So I simply use breaks of structure, but not just maybe one. I use multiple breaks of structure. It could be 2 breaks of structure, sometimes even 3, just to really confirm that price is going the direction that I want it to. So in this example, I will have used 2 breaks of structure. So here we have price coming down into our POI, breaking this high and closing above, performing another pullback, and then closing above this high, which happens right here. And at that point, I mark out an area that I would want to enter off of, which in this case would be here. And if I pull out my long position tool, I typically will place an entry just above it, stop loss just below it, something like this. and I'll take profit at 1 to 5. So I'll take off half the trade at 1 to 5, and then I will target the high of whatever range or low if I'm going short. But in this instance, since we're going long, I'll target the high of the range on the other half. So on this trade, just letting it play out. Or actually, I'll just go to 5 minutes to make it a little faster. So right there, price goes ahead and hits the 1 to 5. And then at this point, I will simply just move my take profit from my second half of my position up to the high of the 4-hour range in this instance, giving us a potential 53R. Obviously, price doesn't have to go all the way up there, but it is a target that I would be targeting. I don't trail my stop loss. I simply just move it to break even once 5R is hit and just let the trade play out. And at this point in time, this is where the trade would be. We'd currently be sitting at around 6R, so not close to, pretty close to like where TP1 was, but we went as high as around 28, 29R. So that's pretty much a general overview of how I trade. I also use multiple confirmations. That's just one of them. This is an example.
So I have a follow-up question to that. How do you mentally deal with having a trade running at 28R and then retracing back down to 6R and taking no, like still having the position? How do you mentally deal with that?
One thing that I like to do is once I go break even after we hit 5R, I close my charts.
Oh, wow.
I just let the trade do whatever it wants, because at that point, whether it takes me out of break even, I still made a profit on the trade.
Extreme discipline. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, because if I just watch the charts, I'm gonna want to like do things that that would go against my trading plan. And this is what my backtested trading plan has showed me has worked. So I wouldn't want to go against that.
Gotcha. Well, I want to thank you for giving us an insight into your strategy and coming on for an interview. We as a funded trader, we wish you best of luck with your trading. And we should do another video when you get that GTR,
Of course, I'll probably take you for a ride, take you for a spin. I'll probably post it on my Instagram. You guys will definitely see it.
Of course. I'm not too far from Miami. I'll come down. All right. You take it easy.
Thanks. No problem.